Hey everyone, Fruit-Filled Olive Tree Mini Ministry here. I think that right now the feasts are coming around. We've got Yom Teruah or Rosh Hashanah behind us. We've got Yom HaKippurim coming up, and then the Festival of Sukkot. And I think what's really important right now for people to be considering is that we don't know the day or the hour when Yeshua will return, but at that point, that trumpet sound will be the best sound for some, but the worst sound for many more. And so what's so important right now is to consider, do you know him? Do you know your Savior? Many say, yes, I do. I raise my hand in church, or I go to church every week, or I love him, I pray to him. And you might be shocked to realize that that might not be the truth. That might not be enough. For Yeshua tells us himself in Matthew 7, many who come to me on this path will tell me, I prophesied in your name. I cast out demons in your name. I did many works in your name. And he says, I will look them in their face and say, depart from me. I never knew you. And he gives the answer as to why he's asking them to depart. And he says, you worker of lawlessness. Now, many Bibles will say, you evildoers. And this is the spirit of the Roman Catholic spirit of the Antichrist that is attempting to cover up the truth of Yeshua's message, which is worshiping God in obedience to Torah, in a Torah spirit, as Paul says in Romans 7. Many might say, well, we don't have to work under the law. Matthew 5:17, John 14:15, just look them up. And we learned that the Apostle John tells us specifically, here's your test to know if you know him. How do you know that you know him? 1 John chapter 2, verses 3-6, it says, the way you know him is that you follow his commandments. There are no new commandments. There are only the original commandments that Yeshua brought to a new life to observe, as Paul said again, a Torah of spirit, a Torah of love, a Torah of truth, not out of fleshly obedience or man-made traditions. So I urge all of you, if you don't follow the commandments, if you don't know what the Torah is, you are watching this because the Spirit is working on you, that God's kingdom in heaven is working on you on the other side and encouraging you to be in a right relationship with him. Okay? It is so important that we know the truth, that we have the mark, not of the beast, but the mark of Yeshua. And we're told that the mark of the beast will be on our foreheads and on our arms. But as we know, much that is physical or seeming physical in the Bible is very much spiritual and metaphysical. For example, Deuteronomy 6, God talks about the commandments and he says, you will meditate on these. I command you to meditate on these day and night, to teach them to your children, to bind them between the inlets of your eyes and to your arm. That is the sign. And he says that a sign in Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 12, he says that my Shabbats are a sign between me and my children. So if you don't follow the commands, if you think that the Torah has been abolished, you could be worshiping through the spirit of the Antichrist, the spirit of the anti-Messiah, a false Christ, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus Christ that has gotten rid of the Sabbath, gotten rid of the Torah, that has instituted Easter instead of Passover, that has instituted Christmas instead of the fall feast, that has completely done away with the truth of the Father. So I encourage all of you to pray and to seek the truth, for we never know the day or the hour.